Here we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Ascension Roundtable. I do have a channel message. Yeah, go ahead, Max.
It doesn't seem, it's not live for me.
All right, let me go on YouTube. Yeah, it says waiting for attracting wisdom.
Have you clicked go live on your studio? And did you have the blue confirmation?
Okay, I'm going back. Looks like you're ready. Click here to start streaming. Going live. Thanks, Max. All right. Hello, everyone. This is another Ascension Roundtable. And thank you so much for joining us once again. And I'm so sorry. I'm a little discombobulated. These energies have been very intense. We once again have our panel, Max, Nikki, and Kimberly. And right before we went live, we were discussing the energies and how we were all feeling, because it's been very intense. So before I get into the channeled message and our topic of magical energies, we'll just go around and you can also get an update how everyone was feeling. I will tell you, last night, the energies were so intense that this was me the whole night on the sofa. I felt so nauseous, waves of energy, very intense. To me, it almost felt like I was giving birth. And when Athena was telling me to eat, I was just like, I think I'm going to throw up, like whatever I eat. And she was like, no, we want you to eat. You need to ground. These energies are really intense. And I was just praying for bed. But what happened was my heart was racing so much and the energies were so intense. There was no way I could sleep. There was just no way. So I just sat through it, went through it, did go to sleep. And then last night I did sleep and I slept very late in the morning, like 9 a.m. my time, which is, I'm usually up at 4 or 5 in the morning lately in life. So I was surprised that I got up so late, like at 9:30. And I had a lot of dreams. And my dreams were around the male ego. Curious, right? And the male ego, I got a greater understanding because I would say, me personally, as Isabelle, I've been in the industry working with all men. I was in IT, and so that's a very male-dominated industry. And then as I raised up in the corporate ladder, it's all men. There's very few women. And so that male ego has, I didn't know what to do with it. They're competitive, they can be aggressive, they can be sexual. And I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with it. So my dream last night was a series of looking at my life and the male ego and entities coming in, talking to me about the male ego. And so now as Isabelle, I do have a greater understanding and I'm not as scared. So, and as for today, the energies are still strong. So if you're feeling it, it's okay. If you're tired, it's okay. I'm not as nauseous as today, but I feel like the volume is very, very strong. Like it's still continuing. All right, that is my news update for the Ascension Roundtable. Nikki, tell us how you are feeling these energies.
Hi, Isabelle. Hi, everybody. And I just love how you can just put it out there, Isabelle. I really admire that. Um, yeah, so last night was super intense. I was really tired yesterday, and then I fell asleep, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and my heart was racing, and I felt so many emotions because for me, it's always the emotions, and there was a lot of fear and negative self-talk, and it was like all of my shadow came up to say, we're still here, on some level. So I knew that I would be okay. That's the great thing about being on this spiritual journey, is that we're warriors and we were designed to move forward. So part of moving forward is sometimes going through these thick energies that push us to face some of the stuff that I personally don't want to face. And I would say that today is better than yesterday. Although I went for a really long walk with my husband, and I was crying while I was talking to him. And I was like, I just was crying. We were just doing this really long walk, and I was crying, and I felt better after. And I knew. You talked about grounding. So this morning I had a bath, and I got water going, and I got cold water going, even though it's like 30 degrees over here in France. And then I went out into nature, and I really appreciated it. And what's amazing about having these kind of experiences is they no longer become my complete reality. So there's that observer state that's watching myself go through all this stuff, and at the same time, I was also in appreciation for the beauty, for the quiet, for somebody who was listening to me while I was ranting and getting it out. And I didn't need my husband to be my hero and fix anything. And he seemed to know that because he just listened. And that was a big change because, when we first got together many, many, many years ago, we had those roles. I was the victim and he was my savior. And it was just so interesting to be able to just get it out, and that's about authenticity, just expressing myself. So, I'm feeling better and I know how to self-care, but, it's really important for me to hold on when I think it's too much. And sometimes, last night, it felt like almost too much. That's where I'm at tonight.
Yeah, you're not alone. I'm very blessed that I have an infrastructure and structure of beautiful light workers and friends. Nikki and Kimberly and Max are part of my structure. And so I would have to say, and I also have a partner, Tyler, who's also like, it's so nice to have somebody bounce off ideas and like, hey, are you feeling these energies and what's going on? Because we all have our lives. But I would say understanding that the light workers were really feeling it in a variety of ways helps you feel like you're not going insane, helps you understand that just because most humans are not aware of the ascension still, it doesn't mean you're alone. Yes, our group right here can channel. A lot of the light workers are channeling. Some are still doubting their abilities, and that's fine because it is a process and journey. Max and I, we were talking right before this call, and I was just saying, Max, how long have we known each other? Because it feels like we've known each other all our lives. And I think it's only been a year. And Nikki and I, thank goodness, we have met several times, and we're actually going to be live together in April doing a course, which I'm so excited, group shadow work. And, but I've never met Kimberly, but I'll tell you what, I freaking love Kimberly. And when I see my sister, I am going to kiss her all over and hug her and squeeze her and just love on her, because we have been together. If it wasn't for Kimberly and this ascension, she was one of my first channelers that really helped me. And it was just her and I going on YouTube for a long time. And I just want to say I am so grateful for all my light workers that communicate with me, that support, and I hope all of you have a fellow light worker friend, and you can always reach out to any one of us on this panel, and just know you are not alone, and we are really here for you. Because listen, if I didn't know about Ascension symptoms, I probably would have gone to the hospital. Like, I probably would have thought I'm having like a heart attack or something. Like, because it was intense, it was physically painful, and it was waves of energy. And so I'm grateful that I have this understanding, and I'm grateful that I'm not alone, and that's what I really wanted to share. So, all right, Kimberly, you're up next.
Well, hello, everybody, and back at you, my dear. You know, since I live in Australia, it's a bit hard to meet in person, but hopefully that will change soon. And all of you as well, Nikki and Max. So yeah, for me, it's more of a deep inner journey. It's not a particular day. It was activated late last year for me. So basically, I'm kind of, you know, having to look at certain dynamics in my outer reality and how I connect with other people, the connections of people around me, as an extension of me. So it's I'm currently exploring oneness from a nuanced angle in relations to others. So I'm going through a bit of a transformation at the moment, and yeah, and of course it's been challenging. But, you know, I also know it's a transformation, and I'm starting to see a picture emerge. And that's something I want you guys to know, that just to have faith. And, you know, we have talked previously about, you know, dark night of the soul, depression, in feeling disconnected. So it happens to all of us. I felt it. Everyone here today has felt it. Sometimes it happens for 1 hour, 1 day, for a month, for a series of months, even longer. So understand, if you are experiencing it because of everything that's happening, whether you attribute it to the energies or not. Like for me, I don't feel it as a particular day. It's just been an extension, and it's been a continuous thing since late December. So regardless of what you attribute it to, it's for you, and it's for transformation. So how you move through that, however it is affecting you, whether it is mild, whether it's not, perhaps it's not affecting you at all. Perhaps because of your soul journey, you'll just enjoy every day. So understand, it doesn't mean that you have to, you know, have it be in a challenging time at the moment. No, but if you are experiencing it, understand, for you to move through it, it's just to let go to it. And that's something that I'm also working through in a nuanced way. It's about, you just have to let go. And what I'm finding is that a lot of the, I guess, how I saw myself, how I saw the world and others around me, even how I teach, a lot of things, I feel like I'm in the process of letting go of a lot of things, and it can be challenging. And it's about letting go of the resistance to transformation and change. Understand that nothing is an end. It is just a new pathway. And understand that when you go on a new pathway or a nuanced pathway, it doesn't mean that everything that lied ahead of it was a waste of time or you're a failure. What it means is just the universe is moving you onto a new pathway. It's part of your plan here. So it's just about letting go of it, being non-resistant to it, no matter if it's personal challenging situations or something in your outer reality, like, you know, family, or something that's an extension of you in your outer reality that's affecting you. Whether it is you just feeling like you need to change your life on a whole new pathway, understand it's okay. So if you are able to just to let go and just surrender and just focus on gratitude for what is. And know when you're in the thick of things, it's really challenging to see the higher perspective. I know personally for me, even though I teach the higher perspective, since December, I've been kind of, universe is really, or me, because we are the universe, right? Been really forcing me to kind of delve into 3D world, right? For various things. So it's not about, ignoring and, bypassing the 3D world, because I see that we tend to sometimes just go, okay, that's difficult. Okay, just keep the higher perspective. But what I'm finding in a nuanced journey, I guess, is, and new learnings, is really to embrace the 3D world. So even if you are temporarily disconnected, for instance, because I know, when we've experienced dark night of the soul, you do feel disconnected from spirit, right? But understand it's for you. It's for you to be grounded in physical reality, and there's soul lessons there. So understand the higher perspective can help you to have the hope and the faith, but it's not about bypassing what you need to work on in 3D world, because we're having a human experience. We're much more than human. So that's just want to say, just keep the faith. Know that if you're going through a difficult time, it's part of a transformation, right? So just return to the heart, practice gratitude for what you're going through, even though you can't see why it is for you perhaps in the moment, but understand there is a bigger picture here. So understand we're all connected. So my heart is with you guys. If you're feeling it, I'm with you. We are one. And yeah, it's just surrender to what is.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you so much. All right, Max, tell us, how have you been, my love?
Oh, I've been wonderful and in the best of the world. Never been better. Crap. Like everyone, so tired and going through. Yeah, it's now nearly 3 years that we are. Well, I mean, with COVID, 3 years, and I think that we can really see now that COVID is really this change, this huge change, ascension, this thing that we are using, and so and it's lasting. So we are tired. I think I'm not just tired. We are all tired, and we are also in a moment where we are less passionate. We are getting really very upset because it's lasting, and we are, and as light workers, I think we were talking about this last week, Isabelle, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just and so we come to a moment where we are just not accepting all the crap from many people that are still vomiting the same things that they have been vomiting for some time, and they are not letting go or accepting anything else, right? And we see the manifestation of that in Australia right now, right? One of the manifestations that is so in the outcry, because it's just someone that is playing victim out of his white privileges. And so we don't have passion. We just are willing to crush everyone that is just behaving that way, right? But at the same moment, right, we have to just see the that is only our own way of saying I'm just tired, and right?
Yes, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
So
and we're getting there, right? It's simply that we have this manifestation, we have these things that are still saying, oh, we're still in there. Yeah, right. Okay. I go back to sleep. Can you wake me up when it's over, please?
song, wake me up before we go.
Yeah. But beside that, great.
It is. It's all okay. All right. So I'm going to read you guys the channeled message from the team. So the topic was magical energies. And this is it. Dear ones, those who have been sensitive to these energies, we wish for you to not be afraid, but rather rejoice. You have all been waiting for this moment. We are monitoring and being as gentle with you all with this mass amount of unprecedented energies of light. Our sweet Isabelle has a greater understanding than indeed that these are codes to unlock magical abilities within you at the precise frequency necessary. All will be felt in many different ways and expressed, but we would say that indeed these energies are magical. A common ability is to manifest thoughts and ideas very quickly into physical reality, meaning your thoughts will form as experiences that may seem to magically appear in your reality much quicker, if not instantaneously. Synchronicities will increase, messages received much clearer, and for those awakening, intense dreams will occur with messages for greater understanding. Magic is full of surprises and delights. That was the message. So I think part of us, like the last line, surprises and delights. And as much as we love magic, I think it also freaks us out. Like it's scary because it's unknown. And I think if we can just go within and become childlike and say, oh, what's next? What's next? What's around the corner? I think that can help us move through these energies. And the next 2 years, these energies, like the Ascension, we're in another phase and stage of another 2-year cycle. And so it's pushing us. And one of the things that they showed me was like a ladder, a rung, and that everyone is shifting wherever you are. And so I went up to the next rung that was right before me, but someone is right behind me on my other rung. And so we're all shifting. And one of the things with these magical energies, I was getting a lot of information around this. It's so intense that the ones who have not done their shadow work, they may seem to spiral out. They may seem out of control because they're still feeling these energies, but they don't understand these energies. And so they may seem like they're going crazy, or they feel like they're going crazy. And so, you know, we create this roundtable to share our stories so that we can ground other light workers or other people awakening to know that this is normal and it's all okay. And yeah, so that's the message. Does anyone else want to jump in?
I'll jump in.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Max.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, remember what you said before? Male energy, male ego.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not that. No, I just wanted to jump in here because when we talk about magic, I think that I wanted to give some sort of history of it, or to be more clear, to say how did we get here? in a reality where magic is forgotten or not validated or ignored at best, where the religious mainstream message is there is no magic. And so that comes basically in our reality and in our society from the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is, or has been in that time, the manifestation of the denial of magic. Not that they didn't use magic, but they were afraid of most of it. So all that conquest that they have done, and all of that going around, most of the time they've done that because they were scared of what was behind the frontier, right? What was behind the unknown. So that's why the goal, the conquest of the goal. Well, we have this idea of these barbarians, right? They were not barbarians. They were not Romans. So the Romans were afraid of them. Like they were afraid of everything. And so they conquered They conquered all these lands. And when they conquered this lands, what they did is that they gave a history of that was an history that manipulated the situation, in the sense that they let out every information that was the scary part. So Vercingetorix, the Gaul, was not a barbarian, he was a druid, for instance. Yeah, and all of that. And the druids is one of the examples of the magic that was there in that era that has disappeared. But disappeared, so in the idea is that they died, right? They died away because there was no more space for them. They didn't die. They just left this vibration, this state of, so that's...
They went underground.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right, Max. And this druid energy, they're saying, we're really happy that you're saying this, because this is the same energy that's coming to Earth right now.
Yes.
So thank you.
And so they wiped out all of this, ignoring it, right? When Caesar wrote about his conquest, he left out every information. It was written, it was a political writing, it was not the truth, it was only a way to present the things in a way that the Roman society could accept that, right? But also, it was their perspective. As Roman, they could not write it in another way. They could not say, oh, we went there, there were druids everywhere using magic, we didn't understand what was happening, we were scared, and so we killed everyone. Because why not, right? And you can see that is something that has happened all along our history, because the history that we have received from that point onward, is a history where everything magic has been destroyed. So the Gaul, Druids, well, America, what we call the Indians, right? The conquest of America, 400 million indigenous Americans killed. Do you think that those Americans were not using magic? Yeah, they were using magic. And who conquests them? Where? Well, European that were descending from the Roman Empire, and so that they were denying every use of magic. And there you have Maya, Aztec, all the tribes in North America, right? All of that having a society based on magic. And then this European arrive, they are there, they're scared. Well, we kill everyone, so there is no more anything of that. Bye. And so, and same thing if you go direction Asia. In Asia, when you are confronted with the culture in Asia, China, Japan, Korea, and every other land, you are confronted with a mythology, what we call mythology, of magic. You see that even today, when they make movies or they anything, you see that they can fly. You see that they're using in Japan so much magic, in China so much magic, but we refuse that, right? And my question there is, why will they have this culture, this image of using this magic if that magic never existed? But obviously, as we are seeing that from the perspective of our heritage from the Roman Empire, denying any of that, well, what happened is that we are in denial, and all of that has gone underground. But the one other piece of this is that huge part of this ascension and all of this energy that are coming up is that by denying all of that, what we are doing, what we have done all along is that energy has not been expressed. So that energy is appearing now.
Yes, and they said that these energies have not been seen on Earth for a very, very long time. And so they are a certain frequency of light. So one of the things that I want you guys to think of, because like when I was feeling all these energies, to me, it just felt like a wave and I was just in my body, right? So I'm not thinking that they're real, even though I'm feeling that, even though I'm having a physical sensation, I'm still, I'm still the human Isabelle, and I'm not thinking of them as real. But when you broadcast, when you, FM radio, that is on a certain channel, and that is on a certain frequency band. And so that's what they're saying to me. They're like, Isabelle, these lights are a certain sound and frequency, just like tone, like Nikki does gong. She does gong baths, right? And she feels it. She knows, like it transports her into another life experience. And why would that sound transport her? But the ancient Egyptians knew sound alchemy, and this is why Kimberley does sound alchemy. It transports us, it activates us. It's very real. So how human Isabelle has to think of it? A microwave. I have to think of these energies like a microwave, to tell you the truth, because you put in your little cup of coffee and you hit a number like 1 or 2, and then it goes woo, and then it goes, and then I open up the door and my coffee is hot. That's how I have to think of these energies. It's just like microwave. I don't know what it's doing, but it's heating up my coffee. I don't know what these energies are doing, but they're telling me it's magical. So I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust some shit is going to go on. I don't know how it's going to happen, but these are the energies, and they play with it. Like, my galactic friends, they play with dimensions, the Hathors. I mean, they're so advanced. They play with frequency all day long. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in rudimentary math. Anyways, I don't know. Nikki, go ahead, jump in.
I love it. You crack me up. Thanks, Max, for that. That was super interesting. And you opened you opened up my perspective, because when I was listening to you, Isabelle, and you were channeling and magical and fairy dust, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, okay, you have to realize the context. I'm American. I grew up with the magical kingdom. That's Disneyland. That's going for your birthday. That's a celebration. It's fun. Nobody's crying. You're not feeling contrasting feelings. And, these energies don't make me think of the magical kingdom. Okay. So I immediately had resistance. So, when I'm feeling self-doubt, self-hatred, which is rare, but I felt it last night. judgment, hopelessness, all of that in the span of 3 hours, okay? I'm not thinking, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next, okay? That's not in my horizon. I'm not there at all, okay? So, I just have to say that what Kimberly said at the very beginning, she said, difficult time is a transformation. So it's to think beyond what we're living. And I remember when I gosh, I'd been following Abraham for many, many years and stuff like that. And I was working with someone, and she said to me, this is about 5 years ago, she said, "You're a drama queen." And I thought, that bitch, I'm not a drama queen. And then I was like, wait a minute, like, I think that my conditioning through all the experiences that I lived and stuff like that was, and I think most, like, moguls are the civilians, the moguls, right? Are conditioned to see what's wrong. Okay. So we on this panel here, and for the people that are listening and that will listen, um, know that there's another way to see the world, and it's through cultivating gratitudes. It's accepting exactly what is. And so, when I feel those intense things that I felt last night, and I felt that I didn't feel them all last week, but there was one day, maybe a week ago, one Monday, I felt it like almost like it was last night. I get caught up in the illusion of this 3D world. I love what Kimberly said about it's really important to embrace and accept our humanity. We did choose to come to Earth and have this experience. So this idea that I'm I know this is all like for my good. When I'm in it, I'm not that in that mindset at all. But I think what's important for me is to understand that it's going to pass, to understand that I don't have to do this alone. Like when I'm in a tight spot, I pick up the phone and I cry, and as Isabelle listens. Sometimes she says, "Nikki, it's shallow. The water's shallow. You're not drowning." And I'm like, "Oh, you're right. So I think it's really important to be that flame that doesn't go out at the first draft, right? And I think because we've been in this stuff together, and COVID has certainly accelerated it and emphasized it, it's gotten much more intense. We know how to hold our flame, right? It's there. But, also that disconnect, accepting that disconnect. Last night, I was totally disconnected. I was like, fuck the ascension. I can't take it. I'm hopeless. I want out, And there was that voice in me, though, that was like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And, I want to say this, I believe that there's a full moon like tomorrow or something like that. The moon's in Cancer. And so anybody who's sensitive, and I know I certainly am, I feel this pressure. It's like the things that I tolerated and wanted to slide under the rug, deal with later, put off. It's the pressure it's like I'm in a pressure cooker, and when you're in a pressure cooker, well, it's sometimes overwhelming. So it's really important to just stay in the moment. For me, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking for anyone who has ever been there or who is in it now, is staying in the present moment, accepting where you are, and embrace is a big word, but really surrendering to what is, even if this is where it is. And one of the problems is that we go into the future and we think that this is going to last forever, but it never, ever does, And I have to say, it's a little bit disappointing because when I started on this journey, I got really excited. I remember, I started a long time ago, like all of us, spiritual journey started 30 something years ago, but like I was really excited when I found out about the Ascension teachings and all that stuff. And I remember it was 2017 and I had all this excitement. And so I was excited about what was to come because all I wanted was more freedom. And I understood that if I did the shadow work, if I pushed through my fears, if I took risks, if I if I continued to become more and more authentic by speaking my voice, tapping into my desires, letting everybody know how I felt, also caring about how I felt, all those things. There was a reward. It's like the pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow, right? And that reward was more freedom, more joy. And what? What happened? I thought it was going to be here already. And it's very funny because Max was saying, he was saying passion, but I think he meant patience. I think he meant patience. And I was thinking, it's passion. It's the passion that I felt in 2017. And when these energies knock you over, it's really like a tsunami, And so we're not on one of those, floating devices, with sunglasses and a cocktail. We're trying to hold on to the tree because the water is going by, So it's about having patience and knowing that passion is there. I think I said to Isabelle the other day on a phone call, I don't have any passion, no enthusiasm. I don't care about anything. And then she said, yes, you do. You just don't even see it. Sometimes we can't see things because I personally can get into this very black and white thinking where it all becomes one truth. And, that's always a dangerous place to go. We just take these now moments and we accept what is and we ride the wave of this ascension. Thanks.
And, when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it and it's intense, it's hard to stay grounded and aligned. And it's hard, when you feel like throwing up. But I don't know. I'm going to tell you, there's just a part of me that's like, if we need to throw up, we throw up together. If we need to sit and cry, we sit and cry together. If we need to stop, we stop. But we will continue this fucking mountain. Yes, we will. We will take another step and we will take a step together and we will climb this mountain. And I don't care if we only take 2 more steps and we're throwing up again. But there is this fire in my belly. There is this unwavering thing within me. And I'm just going to chalk it up to my inner being or Athena or my calling or my essence or whatever. And there are moments when I do feel like giving up. And there are moments where the sadness is so overwhelming. I feel like I could die under the feeling of it, the burden. It's not a burden, but the weight. It's a weight. And sometimes I get really scared because I know these energies are really intense, and little Isabelle gets freaked out because her dollies have boo-boos and her stuffed animals have boo-boos. And it's very hard for me not to fix and rescue. But I know everyone is supposed to go on their journey and do their own soul work. And the pressure that you are feeling, Nikki and Kimberly and Max and myself and whoever is listening to this, those frequencies of duality and judgment will only become stronger. I know, because it's almost like really? But they come stronger and they become more intense so that we let them go. And if they were gentle and if they were subtle, they can stay, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the soul work. I wouldn't do it. Would you? No. But they cannot come into 5D. So go ahead, jump in, Kimberly.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that they're meant to be intense. That's where transformation comes from, especially those of you who are already aligned to the high perspective. If something was just mild, we might have the tendency to be like, oh, that's okay, it is just for me, and just kind of bypass it, right? Bypass the human experience, bypass the shadow work from a human perspective. Even though when we do soul work, we address it from a high perspective, but we can't bypass the human emotions and the human processing on how to resolve that. So, like, I know even for my current experiencing at the moment and since last year, it's meant to, sometimes we go through things that are so intense, it is so difficult to see the higher perspective, even though you know it's there, even you know there's a higher purpose, but you're so in the thick of the 3D stuff that you can't see why it's for you. But it's supposed to be like that. So I just want to remind you guys that if you're experiencing that and you're on your path, I know that many of you judge your path. I know, judge your journey, right? Because like, oh, I should be a guru by now. I should know everything, but not everything by now, but you know what I mean? You should know everything's for high perspective. So when you get dragged into the inner darkness, the inner shadows, and you're finding yourself, you know, maybe a challenging time to process that, you'll judge your journey, you judge your abilities, you judge who you are and all the rest. But it's supposed to be like that. So understand, if you do feel disconnected, if you feel like you don't have the tools from a higher perspective, understand even that's for you. You're supposed to explore the muck, because that's where the transformation comes from. You know, with the dark night of the soul, you're meant to feel so disconnected. Sometimes you do feel rock bottom, but when you feel like, you know, the story of the phoenix, from the ashes you rise, you transform. So understand that with this process, even if you can't see the higher perspective, it's just literally, you just need to like accept it, because when you practice acceptance, you let go of the resistance to it. If you feel like shitty, that's fine. I don't want you to bypass it. I don't want you to be like, okay, well, you know, I know it's happening for me, and that's it, ignore it. You need to process the shitty stuff. I'm sorry, but if you don't process it, it's always going to be there in your energy field. I know there's a move, like I know it's easier to bypass it, to see the higher perspective and just, you know, love and light, right? But if we don't process what's coming up for us, it's still going to be in our energy field, and that relates to our frequency. If it's in our vibration, we manifest according to our vibration. So I just want you to know, no matter how prolonged it is, it's just about acceptance of it. Even if it's challenging for you to even be grateful for it, it's okay. Just listen to your body, especially if it's physical. Listen to the body and rest, and take off the judgment. What Isabel's saying with judgment. A lot of the time we judge ourselves and our ability to be in alignment. Understand that sometimes we're not always going to be in alignment consciously and physically. We're having a human experience. So I want you to let go of the judgment you place on yourself, because I see it a lot. And that judgment you place on your own journey, it's what disconnects you even further. So it's okay. Accept that you're disconnected. Accept that you feel like you're on pause. It's okay. It's supposed to be like that. All right. And as you move through it, one step at a time, one day at a time, let go of the resistance. As you let go of the resistance and be curious about it, if you're having these negative thoughts come to you and you can't see the high perspective, at least be curious about, like, oh, that's interesting. And that also assists you to let go of the resistance, to see the clarity. And then with time, that clarity will come. The picture will emerge. It might not be clear on day one. It'll emerge. Just stay with it. Trust yourself. Trust in your connection. Also, as well as this year, it's also really about seeing the oneness and how you connect with others. Because a lot of the time, I also see that with these energies, you know, we might see the higher perspective and what's happening, and maybe we don't, I don't know, maybe we don't judge ourselves, we might judge others, or we see other people suffering, we might see other people in fear. And because we see the higher perspective, we might be like, okay, well, they're having their soul journey, just leave it be. But understand in this, what the messages I'm getting this year, it's a new nuanced way of oneness now. We need to see that all others are also you. So when you act love in action, you can show, even though they're not victims, even though you're not a victim, if you can act from a place of compassion, of empathy, of connection, and action with another, could be just hello, could be just like, I'm feeling you, I'm seeing you. It could be just, you know, acknowledging that you're in suffering, you're in fear. Understand that that action bridges your connection to oneness and helps you to feel more connected. And just that alone, just connection can help you lift yourself out of that inner darkness. If you can't find it within yourself, and I've always been saying, you know, connect with Gaia, connect with Mother Nature as well, and Gaia. But if you can bridge a connection with someone else, extend a love to someone else, you'll feel better within yourself. And you know when you're in the shit and someone reaches out to you, even though you know you're not a victim, even though you don't want sympathy, someone reaches out to you and like, are you okay? And I'm with you, I feel you. You feel better. Why do you feel better? Because part of you recognize that you are one with that person and you create a connection. And that's how you're also moving together in oneness. So just remember that that's another thing to do when you feel like you're in the muck, reach out to someone. Right? But yeah, just acceptance and let go, and just one day at a time, guys, one day at a time.
Thank you, Kimberly. And I really like that. When you're in the muck, reach out to someone, because I'm telling you, these energies are intense and soul work is intense. And, you know, the team always tells me it's not going to lessen. It's only going to get faster and quicker, because I don't know if you guys are going to be shocked by this, but did you know we were in a planetary shift? All the humans are shifting from 3D consciousness to 5. I can't even imagine orchestrating, because you know they're celestial beings and like our multidimensional self are like, okay, so how are we going to shift the earth? I wish I could remember those conferences and meetings. Okay, Isabelle, bye. See you down there. You won't remember anything. Good luck. But yeah, I definitely think, reaching out and getting a buddy is really good. So go ahead, Max. They want to know about Australia. Was it Australia or Austria?
Australia. Yeah, but I related to what I was saying before. Yeah, of course, Australia, New Zealand, they are all part of the same colonization, right? European. It comes from, I started with the Europeans, conquering the conquest of the world, and everywhere where they have been, magic has left. And I mean, when I say it has left, it hasn't left. As you said, it went in another vibration. So it's still Earth, still reality on Earth, but they are vibrating in a different rate. So we cannot interact with them. It's as simple as that. The fairies, same thing. The fairy, they did not left. They didn't die. They didn't disappear. They went in a different vibration so that they are here. But we interact with them, but it's more than interacting with us. We can't see them unless we match the vibration. That's as always. But what Australia with the indigenous populations, well, the same story as America, as everywhere. Africa, same thing. But Africa maybe a little less than everywhere else, because with the situation with the tribes and so dissipated. Yes, Europeans have been there, but they kept a little bit more than in other places their own traditions. They weren't really wept away like some others. But what I wanted to say is relating with what Nikki, you have said, and well, Kimberly and Isabelle, I want you to say, but you see, all that you are talking about, what we're going through, what you're doing, the way you are interacting, all of that is magic. It's spell work. And I'm going to say you why. First of all, we have forgotten or we are in denial of magic, but we are magical beings. It's in our blood, if you want to say that way. That's what we are. We are magical beings. So what we do, the way we interact, we are using a lot of spell works. Now, it's not always done properly, yes, so that the effect. So for instance, I will give you an example of a spell that happened a couple of years ago. If you remember, it was a meme, I don't know how you say. Do you remember that day when there was this interaction? It was at the House of Representatives in Washington with Nancy Pelosi. You remember when she did that kind of applause with her way of looking at the president? That was a spell. The way she did it, the way she interacted, and the result of that was a spell work. Now, if she had done it with her heart, the result of that will have been much more effective, because spell work, magic, is done with the heart. You have to go through your heart chakra. So you see, she was not aware, exactly plainly aware of that being a spell work, magic. But that's what she was doing. So, and many people are doing, we are all doing it. Now, as in that example, many people are just forgetting to use their heart. So they are doing magic, but not with their heart. That's why, yeah, it works, but not lasting or really not, right? But we all do that. So when you say you have something, go and talk with someone, call someone, have it, that's a spell work, right? That's magic. And you realize that you cannot get it wrong. If Kimberly or Nikki call Isabelle, because or Isabelle call Nick, right? And I say, oh gosh, these energies are just killing me, right? And they interact. That's a spell work, right? That's the magic.
So you're
And we
saying
do that.
spell work, Max, what you're saying is spell work is an exchange of energy and focus, right?
Yes,
And it's an
exactly.
exchange of emotions. And you're absolutely right. Magic to me, I mean, I just use the word magic because, I mean, I know I think of Disney too sometimes, bippity boppity boo, because it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie when it goes from a pumpkin to a carriage. But anyways, and rags to a beautiful gown. Anyways, for me, magic is going from seen to unseen to seen. That transformation and change is magic. It also means we are magical beings. Magic is equal or the same to me as the divine, and the divine is equal, is same to me as nature. It is awareness that, or understanding of magic or the divine, or from the seen to the unseen to the seen, is where the play is for me. Now, I just use the word terminology magic, but you can call it quantum physics. You could call it quantum science, or you could call it emotion, or you could call it heart-centered. Don't get caught up on my language. That, you know, I'm just using certain words, but really what you're doing is you're setting intentions, you're setting focus energy. And when you use your heart to focus your energy, and your heart is in the love frequency, that is where you do your powerful magic.
Yeah, and you see, and this is a very important piece of magic. And with our society that is so focused on superheroes and manifestations of extraordinary things, and where we think that power magic, you have to see the boom, the thing, the bah, boom, bah. Well, that's
No.
not it. Magic, it's not something that will just be in your face. No, it's something that you do, something that happens, and it's really just like that. And you do not need, and it's like your power, the manifestation of power, it has nothing to do with that boom. It's something that it's quiet, it's just the way it is, it's that. Our idea is always right, it's taken from that things that we see on TV, on, yeah, great, fantastic, that's a way of seeing it, but that's not it.
Right.
That's
And I
why
think,
sometimes, right, we just are surprised and say, oh, is all of that?
yeah,
Sorry.
I agree with you. I think magic is very subtle and delicate and gentle, but powerful. Boy, can it change your life. Boy, can you be on a different trajectory.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead, Kimberly.
No, exactly. I was just going to pop in and say that you guys mentioned intentions. So we do magic every day, but we just might not see it as magic. So, I always encourage people when they do meditation to do intentions, because you imprint the energy, right? That is magic. It's alchemy. It's energetic alchemy, source alchemy. It's magic. That's what alchemy is, when you transform the negative to the positive. Any kind of transformation, alchemy, right? Spiritual alchemy, that's magic. We just, like you said, Isabelle, it's a terminology. When I do like light language, so, a lot of people have the ability of this. That's what I do. I set the intention and I imprint the energy, but you can do that when you meditate. Anytime you meditate, you can do, I also teach this too. You imprint the water. That's magic. You can change Dr. Emoto, there's a lot of science on this about changing the molecular structure of water with your intentions, with the words. You've seen all the experiments, how you've got the jar of rice, water rice, and they've got like, the labels on it, and people like, express their love or gratitude in one jar, and they hate speech and the shouting to the other one, and the difference. There's actually science around this. So that's just a physical expression of that. And, the scientists have even looked at the molecular structure. It shifts. So what do you think we are? We're like 70% water. So we're doing this with ourselves. So whenever you do any intention, like meditation, spiritual practice, I always encourage you, set the intentions. And Isabelle knows this. We do group meditation, group light language. And I encourage people to, what's the intention for this meditation? And you imprint that. So understand it's not some airy fairy thing. It's actually a form of manifestation, but that's magic. So that's just one little thing that you probably are not aware of, that you do, goal, people do, goal setting, all sorts of things, but that's also a form of magic. So intention setting is magic. That's just, I like to put that in there.
Well, and another thing, everyone, all humans, no matter where you are, food. When your grandmother makes something, or your mother makes something, or your sister, or your brother, or your partner, and they make it with love, oh, you can taste it. You can so taste it, right? And it really does change the molecular structure. It's so funny. But if I go into the science to understand what's happening. But just remember, magic is divine. It's just change. It's transformation. It takes on many forms. And I just use the word magic because it's playful for me. Go ahead, Nikki. No?
No, I was gonna write a little message to you to say, grandmother's love has been scientifically proven in food.
Nice. See? I believe it.
You know what? So Abraham calls intentions pre-paving, right? And I remember when I first started listening to Abraham, I would do that, which is, even if I was taking a road journey or whatever I was doing, I used to I intend to have a safe and pleasant journey or whatever, and that was how it began. And that's a nice rudimentary way to start. You could intend to be safe, to safely arrive at your destination or whatever. And the whole thing about meditations, I think it's really important it's a good way to get back, because during the holidays, I don't know about you guys, but I took a vacation from everything, and I kind of tuned out for a while, and I did fun things. I had lots of family time. I really enjoyed being with my family and cooking and doing a lot of the traditions, singing. It was another form of connection with people, connecting, being in oneness with others, and really in appreciation. And I'm like a real cornball when it comes to Christmas, like all of it, man. Give me candy canes, give me, everything. I just love Christmas, and I don't know, for me, there is this feeling of oneness that I feel during the Christmas period. And so when I came, I wouldn't say down, but when I came out of my, little bubble with the family and friends and holidays and all that kind of stuff. First of all, I got COVID on Christmas, the 23rd of December. I got COVID. We all went. I was with some girlfriends, and then we all got it. And it wasn't that big of a deal. It was like a light flu. But in any case, I was out of it for about a week. And when I started getting back into my meditations, channeling, playing my gong, all those things that I know help me, it was like that connection was always there. And, I remember when I used to feel guilty, like I was still judging, like Kimberly was saying, I was still judging my journey. And to be a good spiritual person, I'm supposed to channel every day, meditate every day, connect to my guides, write in my journal, read something spiritual. It's like the bar got so friggin' high, and now I'm on like freeloader state, which is when I feel like doing it, I do, when I don't, I don't. But the truth is that when I'm not connecting, I can really dip into reality and start believing some of the shit that goes on out there, And I think of all the things I could say to anybody listening would be cultivating gratitude. And this is a practice. And, I've been doing it for 30 years, because when I started going to AA 33 years ago, whatever, that was one of the first things they talked about, gratitude. And, it has saved my butt so many times. And it's so interesting because I was thinking about how we're all energy and how we are affected by others. Others are affected by us, because we are all connected, right? And I was noticing certain people I was around and how my physical body felt when I was in their company. And it's very funny because physically, okay, I'm in France, Isabelle's in the States, Max is in Switzerland, Kimberly's in Australia. But like, even just being on this panel, I've just calmed my ass down. Like, I have picked up on your energy, and I'm like, everything's going to be okay. Everything's all right. So that's pretty amazing. But what I wanted to say is that I was noticing when I was with certain people, I didn't feel quite right. And I was observing stuff, and it wasn't a judgment. It was really like, we say in French, constater, Max. It's like you're remarking on something without the judgment, but you're noticing how your body's reacting to it. And what I've noticed, and I was almost going to host this Ascension Roundtable tonight, and I just was so tired, and Isabelle's got so much energy. I took advantage of her good nature and said, please do it. But what I was going to say is that I notice how much suffering there is out there in the 3D world. And, we know that it is a choice, right? I mean, except for these energies, which make it kind of like an imposition. It's like imposed, right? But most of the time we get to choose, like, are we looking at the glass half full or half empty, right? And because of this gratitude thing that I've been practicing for so long, I can almost automatically like have that, maybe that observation, this isn't exactly what I ordered, or this isn't exactly how I wanted it to go. Or, you know, I'll give a good example. I went to a dinner party on Friday night, and it was the first time I'd been out since before COVID. So like just like mid-December. So it had been a month. I hadn't seen my friends, and like all the people that I, not all, but some of the people that I love and enjoy, they were there, and it was a wonderful energy. And I was so excited and so happy. And there was a big table, there were about 15 of us, and I wanted my best friend to sit next to me so we could giggle and laugh and have a good time. And she sat across from me next to somebody else, and they giggled and laughed and had a good time. And my immediate reaction was like that shadow stuff. I knew right away, this is like when I was in sixth grade and Lucy didn't like me. You know, this was like an instant pain. I could feel it physically. And I was like, okay. And I let it go through my body. And then I was like, okay, how can I take care of myself? Well, the most wonderful, the hostess sat down next to me, and we giggled and laughed. We ended up dancing all around the house to music. And sure enough, at some point, my girlfriend showed up, and she's like, Nikki, where are you? And, you know, we just went from there, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. But, you know, the old version of Nikki, that Nikki that didn't know about life being eternal, and that I don't have to take myself so seriously, would have been in a reaction. It would have been wrong, right? Because I would have been in duality, and it would have ruined my entire evening. And I'm so incredibly grateful that those obstacles when you stub your toe and you just can't get over it. It's like life is so much. I do have more freedom because I have that freedom to choose how I'm going to take what I've just given meaning to, right? And so, you know, that's the thing. It's like, I know it's all out there, and I know I'm feeling it really intensely. And I also know that there's that bigger me, that eternal soul who's connecting to, you know, who's just, you know, having all these experiences. This is just one of them. And it's really important to appreciate all of it because we chose it. We wanted to come here, and now we're going to complain. Now that's another whole podcast, right? Because, you know, it's really important to validate how you feel. And I can go into, I don't have a right to complain because I chose to come to Earth. I mean, really, when I'm looking to be myself, I can do it. But yeah, I did choose to come here to have these experiences, to push through these fears, to know myself at a deeper level, to find the authenticity within me and know that it is my birthright to feel joy and freedom. And even if it's momentary, I claim it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. I love it. So I feel like it's time to wrap up. Does anyone want to say anything? And who's hosting next? Nikki? Right. Nikki will host next. Nikki and I, we actually talk a lot about the pain and suffering. And we are creating a retreat in April, somewhere in Florida. We will be doing group soul work and integration. You have to, not that you have to, but that's all right. If you're attracted to it, you're for us. So it's all good. But Nikki is one of the most amazing ability to do inner child work. She's a holy shit. And just to let you guys know, you must deal with your inner child. Good luck to you if you try to avoid that. But doing inner child work is part of the ascension. Accepting your ego is also part of the ascension. There are phases and stages. I am very blessed that I get to see all the phases and stages and understand the different levels. So until next time, Kimberly, did you want to say something before we sign off?
No. Well, I was just going to mention that with the whole retreat thing, that's an excellent thing that you guys are doing. But also just on the note that for the continuous group shadow work, me and Isabelle are doing a Lightworker circle, and that will involve also, because my background, I'm a counsellor, so it'll be a group soul work there, and there'll also be some interesting things like light language and also some coursework too. But that's something else.
Yes, actually, I do want to mention that because somebody has already reached out for me looking for a Lightworker circle. So, okay, so Nikki and I are doing hands-on healing work in a setting. Okay, so it's intense and it's over a few days. Kimberly and I are doing another setting, which will be online. It will be a small group, and it will be a Lightworker circle support group. Okay, and there will be a cost to it also. But Kimberly was totally downloaded inspiration to create this Lightworker circle. I'm very excited to be part of it. I can't tell you how blessed I am to work with the teachers. I can't believe that's my job. So, but yeah, so there's more things coming out to assist you, to support you, Lightworkers. Hang in there, have fun, make sure you play. Sometimes we take it all too seriously. And Max and I are doing an empowerment summit in Italy, hopefully this September. So yes, lots of things on the horizon. And who knows, maybe this panel will all get together and do something together to help the Lightworkers. I'm just putting it out there, guys. Until next time, thank you so much for everyone coming here. I really appreciate it. And see you in 2 weeks. All right.
Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
watching.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. All right.